Hello, I'm Chrissy Seaton and welcome to my channel. How are women connected to the redemption? Well, let's start by looking at some information, some background to this. Someone once said that a smart man always treats his wife like a queen and his daughters like princesses. But I say the woman and the wife and the mother and the daughters must also behave like royalty. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And I guess in many ways, this video is aimed at everyone, but I think it is of particular importance to women, young, old, married, widowed, whatever. Now, we know through social science and history, and certainly through the words of the Tanakh, the Holy Scriptures, that women are most of the time more powerful than men. Now, that power lies in many different aspects. Women have an ability to uplift. They build up things. Wherever they go, they make a home, be it ever so modest and humble or grand and gracious. But women have a nurturing, a building, they make a garden, they grow things. And of course, all of humanity wouldn't exist without the woman either. We are by nature a nurturing human being. So it is the task of women to be that mirror of love and modesty in the home, and most importantly as well, to the nations. So this is what I'm going to talk about today, and I will talk more about this in other videos, but I feel that the time is right to talk about the importance of women in relation to the redemption. Women are actually, females are the midwives of the redemption. And I want you to hold that thought as I continue through this video. Now, we know also that along with women by nature being uplifting and, building up, that women also have this incredible influence over the children that are charged to our care, that are gifted to us by Hashem. And there is also an old worldly saying that the hand that rocks the cradle rules the nation. And I have reason to believe there is tremendous wisdom in that phrase. So how we influence our children and our home and our husbands is critical to how the next stage of life develops, of decision making. You know, many powerful men in the world have been known to consult their wives. The wife is the confidant. She builds up her husband, her king, and gives him wise counsel. We see many stories of that in Tanakh. And we've heard many stories just in social history as well of this happening. Now, so how are women connected to the redemption? Well, women are that, how shall I say, that mirror of love and modesty. They mirror love and modesty, not only in their home, but throughout the nations as well. And so everything a child learns usually learns at their mother's knee, be it a little girl or a little boy, because they spend more time with the mother. in most cases. So we must not underestimate the responsibility as women and mothers and grandmothers. Our duties don't finish when the child starts school or leaves school and earns their own living or chooses their own job or career. It goes on, it doesn't end. And so this connection starts at birth at our mother's knee and continues on until our death. Someone also said that wives are to be elevated. The words are elevated, spoiled, and cherished. And my answer to that is that women, not only being uplifted and cherished and elevated, spoiled, but we must be worthy of that as well. And one of the most important and powerful things that a woman can do is to pray. Now, women are not obligated to pray as rigorously and ritualistically as men are, especially in the Jewish faith. But they are encouraged to pray. Even though and the same applies to Gentile women, and if we're not obligated to say set prayers at set times, but it is a good and righteous thing to do to pray when we're in need, to pray in thanks, to pray for advice, to pray for mercy, to pray for safety, to pray for peace. So if something is not obligated for us to do, like prayer, and we then do it, it's a very righteous and wonderful thing to do. So that's the first step. Women should pray more. Pray, speak from your heart, pray more. Ask for the things you need. Ask for peace. Ask for understanding. Now, I did make myself a couple of little notes so I didn't get off track. Now, so you would have seen by the title that women are midwives of the redemption. And I think that is the most wonderful expression and title and subtitle and headline. And I have to thank Rabbi Dr. Shimon Cowan of Melbourne, Australia, because we were having a discussion about the redemption, the Messianic era on the merit of women. And so this topic sort of was briefly discussed. And he said, that women are like the midwives of the redemption. And being a retired nurse, I rather loved that phrase. It evoked lots of comparisons between midwives and the redemption, in real life examples for me as well. So I think that is a perfect expression. We are the deliverers, the assisters, the midwives of the redemption. And bear in mind that Mashiach can come at any time. He can come in peace or in the midst of war. But we know from sages and ancient writings, etc., that the Mashiach, although he can come any time, he certainly will come on the merit of righteous women. So hold that thought. So let's go on to the next point I wanted to make, that women must be righteous in all we do. Now, this applies globally to all women of all nations, of all faiths and beliefs. It includes Jewish women and Gentile women. So we must practice that righteousness. And not just practice it ourselves, but we must try to influence those around us. And of course, that begins in the home, with our family, with our children, certainly with our daughters. No, I did not be blessed with a daughter, but I have a granddaughter, and my heart is just full of things I want to say and do for her, and in terms of being a righteous young woman. Now, so if we're going to be righteous in all we do, then we must also realise that we have this tremendous power in bringing in the Messianic era, or the redemption. So get that sort of imprinted here, that we have power in influencing this. But that power is also reliant on our righteousness and our prayers and the examples we set. And we've got to understand that this responsibility in bringing in the redemption is available. This responsibility is to be shared by all women of all nations. And we must come to realise that collective influence also must be a righteous influence. We must look at what is the insignia of righteous women, and we will talk about those things in another video. But it is being kind, courteous, showing mercy, disciplining our children and our family, also being the helpmate to our husbands, or our brothers, cousins, our male counterparts. So getting back to that expression that husbands should treat their wives like queens, then we must also behave like a queen. We are the queen of our household, the matriarch, the modern day matriarch of our home and family. And that has carries with it certain responsibilities. We can't say one thing and mean another. We have to lead by example and set examples, and that includes teaching our children and our grandchildren and our spouse that prayer is important. Even though we may not be obligated to prayer, that leading a prayerful time in our life is one of those steps towards helping to bring the redemption. But the driving force behind that are the females. And we need to take that responsibility very seriously and think about it. Now rewatch this video later and just think about the thoughts that I've planted in your mind. We must realise that we have a tremendous power in bringing in this era. Our collective righteousness begins with you, just one woman, leading a righteous and merciful, good, modest life. We have a tremendous responsibility in bringing in the redemption. So all women of all nations will come to realise that. It's my hope that you will start talking and thinking about this with your friends. We have an influence as long as it's righteous and good. So today's matriarchs are truly the midwives to the redemption. And please God, it be quick, it comes swiftly, but remember, it will come on the merit of the women, both the Jewish women and the women of the nations. Thank you for watching. We'll talk more on this topic in another video. In the meantime, remember, you have a responsibility. Please take care and God bless.